from that. So let's do it, man.
Well, we are in game 2, and I'll tell you what, a lot of Zergs, they like to take the low road, get that burrow, get that tunneling claws, but in this case, Symbol changing things up again, taking the high road. Didn't know that there was Roach Airlines actually available on Daybreak, but they've got one-stop flights over to the Protoss bases, running twice a day, and it worked out quite good for Symbol. And you know, even more impressive that we got a chance to hear Total Biscuit and Apollo talk about what a failure it actually was for him. But to see him not give up on that, obviously refine it a little bit, his timings looked phenomenal. It
seemed very polished. That was something we saw them describe it in their analysis there as well. It just seemed like it was polished a lot. He knew exactly how to do it this time. Obviously, he got a bit lucky with the fact that MC didn't see it, but the strategy itself was clearly just the right choice. And if he doesn't get the drop off, if he has to turn around there, how much does he lose? He loses the drop upgrade that's 200, 200. That's kind of expensive, but I mean, it's not like he's in a losable position from there.
No, and actually it's a utility that you can continue to use throughout the game if you're smart about it. So let's introduce our players here in the south position as the Red Zerg. 1 game away from putting himself into the lower bracket final. It is TSL Symbol. And this player, all Protoss fans out there, all MC fans out there, you better make some noise because his life is on the line. It is SKMC.
I thought you were going to say all Protoss all the time, but you know what? MC is all Protoss all the time.
He is.
The only Protoss left in this tournament, in fact, so we'll see. Oh, he's going to get the block off here. Almost did not. And if you're a Zerg player who ever gets away with that free natural, you're going to feel great. I mean, you even saw the drone was basically going like, well, I'm just going to go to the third already. I know there's a probe here. I'm not going to be able to get my natural for free. And there is the third base going down first. Chasing the probe away. We'll be making his second hatchery as well fairly soon. MC has gone Nexus first.
Yeah.
And, you know, when he's already, with what he's seen, he's going to feel very comfortable with that. This rush distance on this map is really far. There are cross positions here. This is the MLG version of this map with no islands, but again, I said this jokingly in some of our earlier games, we've never really seen islands utilized on this map.
Yeah, now we saw some really, really crazy games. This is where, of course, where we saw the reverse vortex take place. And, you know, one thing, I mean, Symbol, obviously, I really don't expect him to do ventral sack strategy twice in a row, right? Like, I mean, maybe, but pretty unlikely. However, the last time that MC did play on this versus a Zerg, he kind of willfully gave up the ability to do any sort of block on the hatcheries. I mean, you know your Zerg player is going to take that third, but by going that Nexus first, there's no pylon to throw down there. You don't throw down your pylon and then get that Nexus. It's a decision you have to make. So
that's a very good point.
I mean, I think it's a little scary, but it's a risk that a Protoss player has to take, and I'm curious to see how it will actually play out here.
I wonder what, again, we're going to see from MC. This is a map that's a lot better for all-ins because of the way the third base is for the Zerg, a little bit awkwardly out of place. It's far away in one regard, and if you don't kill the rocks, which it's impossible to kill very early, then you have to send your units around a long path. This is why that Immortal timing push that I was talking about last game is really, really popular on this map. Killer from Team Complexity has actually utilized it probably better than anyone else, seems to really know how to use it better. But MC, I'm sure, has mastered this as well. He's a guy who loves two-base timing attacks, doesn't always use them, but he always has them prepared. And I would not be surprised if he really commits to an attack like that on this map at cross positions, because if he doesn't do damage early, Symbol is going to have free reign over the map. His creep's going to start getting out of control. It's going to be something that's very difficult for him to deal with in the later stages of the game.
So Symbol actually, he's actually taking all of his main base. He all the drones he made out in between the third base going up and the second base, he actually sent everything over to the third. So, you know, interestingly enough, he's going to get the nice saturation over there at that third, but a lot of mining time actually lost.
Yeah, during the transfer, and now his natural's not fully saturated.
Right. You know, so it is kind of odd, and we've been talking about that all weekend. Where
you have to make sure you have to make sure that you don't make drones at your third base then, because if you make drones at the third base, you're losing a lot of mining time while they're transferring to the natural, and so it does get to be a little bit weird.
And now he is. He's sending everything. 1 rallied into the main, and then his hatchery 2 and 3 rallied to the natural so he could try to get that up. In fact, he's doing an additional drone transfer because he realizes.
Wasted transfer there.
And we do have a Stargate opening with the Void Ray
from MC. He's getting the 4 gateways. He's going to do that Void Ray +1 timing as well. Something you guys mentioned that he did against Symbol at Iron Squid. He's going to do it again here. And without Roaches, it's very, very difficult to hold this push, but he does have the Roach Warren up and running now. I'm wondering if MC will be able to get the forward pylon up correctly. That seems to be kind of like the hit or miss with this push. If you get the pylon up, it does a lot.
Oh, well, he takes out the Zealot and the Probe at the front. There are 2 more Zealots coming down, but frankly, he could deal with this. He's just going to back off because I think the biggest danger was the Probe. And he sees the Void Ray, so...
He's shown all of his hand. He showed the Zealots, the Probe, and the Void Ray. So I think from here, he's probably just going to take a 3rd base, especially because he's made the 2nd Void Ray now, which kind of indicates he wants to use them a little bit more defensively. And he can use the Void Rays to clean up watchtowers in the center. Until Lair Tech is really done, the Void Rays can do whatever they want. Additional Queens going down here. Roach speed +1 and Zergling speed all in the way. He's making Spore Crawlers and a Hydralisk Den just to be safe. And I feel, again, that MC is going to expand with this now rather than try to go for the push. He's missed his timing window quite severely.
What do you think about this Hydralisk Den going down?
I think he's not even going to use it unless he has to. And it's not a huge investment to make. MC actually adding 3 gateways here, though, before a Nexus. And destroying these rocks.
Maybe that Hydro Den will actually come into play. I mean, if he is forced to deal with a huge influx of units.
Yeah, he's not going to use it offensively, just only defensively.
Right,
it's great to have it here. He's actually going to go ahead and make the Hydras now. And that's going to be really helpful against these Void Rays with no answer to the Void Rays. Otherwise, the Void Rays just do so much damage. This is a weird attack by MC. The timing is a little bit off, and the Hydras are going to be out in time. The creep spread is decent here as well, so the Hydras are not going to be fighting off creep. They're going to be able to reinforce from the hatcheries very easily. Even the Queen's starting to do damage here. This is an awkward position for MC. I'm not sure how much I like this.
Yeah, I don't know that MC is going to even expect him to have these Hydras, but it actually seems to be perfect.
He's got 4 Void Rays out. I mean, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, but here come 3. There's also going to be, there is a force field on the ramp, but he's not yet committed. He's probably going to warp into the upper levels, and there it is. We have 4 Zealots coming out, but the Roach is there to stop it. Perfect timing as they exit out of the hatchery. The Hydras have been seen here, and it looks like he is going to go ahead and go in for it. He's really got to focus down those Void Rays, getting a transfuse on one of the Hydras, but he has got to make sure that Hydra DPS is going to those Void Rays. He does not want to leave 4 Void Rays up with the potential of them getting fully charged.
That's going to be so difficult to deal with. There are 3 Queens in this mix. They do have a decent amount of energy starting to bank up here. The Hydras are on the high ground. They take out the pylon, but they're out of position now to defend the Void Ray. And the Void Rays are starting to do damage. The Spore Crawler actually a bit hidden here. He's taken so much damage. 1 Void Ray falls. MC being so shut down right now.
Oh, no.
I think this timing was actually just a little bit awkward, a little bit weird, and Symbol just crushing it. Absolutely no problem. This Void Ray showing up way late for the party.
Oh, my God. GG. Completely shut down. And Symbol moves on. The last Protoss is out, and we have a top 3 Zerg lineup.
Yep, we do.
Unbelievable.
MC going for a big all-in there and banking really on his opponent. I mean, he missed his initial timing with the probe. Then he was like, well, I'm going to do it again with a ton of Void Rays, and that's not going to be what he's going to expect. He's going to think I'm taking a 3rd now because I lost my probe. He'll never expect me to do this, and that's what I was saying. I was like, I don't think he's going to make any Hydras because he's only going to make those defensively, and he hasn't had the feeling, but he made them, man.
Yeah, he made 4. And
that was enough to hold it for him.
Well, what do you guys think over there? An interesting 3rd game to wrap up that series.
Queen's pretty good, man. More to the point, Symbol has obviously polished that up. We had maybe a few doubts that he'd have the opportunity to prepare, as you pointed out earlier. Preparation for a best of 3 doesn't make as much sense. But what he has done is polished up the builds that he tried earlier versus Protoss, and they obviously now work. That in his defense to what we just saw from MC, which was a replica of the same build that he used to beat Symbol in Iron Squid. Now he knows how to learn that, and that scares the hell out of me. Symbol adapts so fast.
I'm actually gobsmacked that top 3 is Zerg here.
Yeah.
That's actually the first time in a long time that top 3 in any tournament have all been Zerg, and DJ Wheat is happy for multiple reasons.
Obvious bias coming in there from DJ Wheat.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it hasn't happened in a very long time, actually, and that actually opens the playing field for anybody to take the entire of the tournament, which is the most important thing here.
Great point.
Is that this is Zerg versus Zerg, guys. It's such a volatile matchup. Anything can happen.
I'll tell you what, though. Having seen Symbol's performance against Nesty in the Iron Squid finals, I think now that Symbol's made his way through MC, he is...
He's got to be
my
feeling
pick,
great.
Man.
Yeah. Me too, man. I think
he takes the whole thing.
Because Symbol has some of the best Zerg practice partners in the world to work with. That's something that TSL has. Is a team that has so many Zergs, so many good Zergs, and Zergs that are kind of like hard to study from the outside looking in. You don't know who Symbol's practicing with. You just know he's practicing with a lot of Zergs. His ZVZ is good enough to beat an ST. So, I mean, his ZVZ is going to be almost unstoppable, I think.
Yeah, I think he could be, and of course, we're going to have the next matchup coming up soon. But first, let's take a look at the NOS performance replay of that Game 1 drop and how that was performed here by Symbol. He loaded up his initial attack. Of course, there were no units right there. He found a nice place to drop. And, you know, honestly, the force fields came out. They weren't that great. The damage started to get done.
And
he took out the Twilight Council.
He has all of his units unloaded here. And once they're all unloaded, that's the hard moment for MC.
Oh, we didn't even get to see that he actually threw down the contaminate on the robotics facility there. But, I mean, it was great. He had good unit retention. He pulled out when he needed to. He was dropping the creep, which is another just a small detail. And then, of course, you know, he picks up right here, moves over the force fields. I mean, really, really nicely done.
But this is just a mere distraction to what we're seeing on the third base.
Right.
It's probably the biggest turning point of the entire of the game. And any Protoss player who loses their third Nexus automatically, you know, is down and bleeding.
Yeah, they have to have some sort of crazy lead elsewhere to be able to come back after losing the third Nexus, and MC, quite frankly, just did not have that from here.
And we see, you know, we do see third Nexuses go down quite a bit in these ZVPs, and then sometimes we see the counterattack, right? But in this case, when you've done a ton of damage in the main and you took down the third, it's hard to...
he even traded with the army there. He had so much production, he just continued to be maxed out, so...
Well, guess what, guys? It's come to that time. The loser's bracket has gotten to a point where there's just one member remaining, and now we go back to the two players who have yet to lose a single matchup here in this competition.
Yeah.
Stefano and Violet are coming up next.
They are going to be next. See you guys in a bit.
All right, guys, don't go away. We'll be right back.